Alright, so last video I discussed about the standard data types. We're able to discuss about the different number data types. We have the integer, floating numbers, and the complex numbers. We also discussed about the strings and the different operations that we can do with the strings. One of the functions for string data types is split. So basically it will split the string into lists to separate to different words or characters. Okay, and now we'll discuss about list. Well, list is just a list. So we define a list using square brackets. We can place numbers there separated by a comma, or we can add text there separated by a comma. We can also add, let's say, a complex number if you want, and a floating number. Okay, so if you run this, we have an error because we forgot a comma separating 3 and 0. Alright, there. So you can see here in the variable explorer or variable inspector, well, we have it assigned a variable there. Let's assign it to x, and it's a list. Okay, and then we can specify the different elements, okay, by its position. Always remember it starts at 0. So x of 0 is actually 1. X of 2 is the number 2. So x of 4, it's exactly the 5th element, which is 3j. And if we say 3, it's the 4th element, Joe. Okay, and similar to strings, no? It's like actually a string where we can specify or display or select a portion of that array. Okay, if we use colon, then it will select the whole thing, so might as well just use X, right? Anyway, that's let's say from the first index, so first element up to third, and then similarly, no, if you get the difference of this, that's the number of elements that will be displayed. Okay, so that's x0 colon 3. Right, so if it's similar to this, okay, to just colon 3, and maybe if you use 4, the colon 3, what will happen? Empty, right? Because you try to display the 5th element up to the 3rd element, or technically the 4th element, but it cannot be done. Okay, so it will give you an empty list. Alright, now let's and the same thing, right? If you use, let's say, a -1, it will show you from the first up to second to the last element. If you use -2 up to the third element, sorry, up to third element, okay, from the end. Okay, so first up to the third element, third to the last. Okay, and we can also join this this list. Okay, that is if our list is are actually text. So let's do that. Let's say, let's replace this with words or characters. Say the quick, let's turn this face. The quick brown fox, oopsie, jumps over, okay, jumped over the lazy dog. Okay, let's do this. Oopsie, and then what happened is, if we do this, okay, get an error. Don't know why there's no close bracket. Alright, so you have a list, and then if we're going to join this, let's specify space, then we'll have a sorry, it should be like this, the other way around. So space that join. So since join is a property of a string, alright, there. So the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So that's how you combine all those words. No, let's substitute. Let's say a 1. What will happen? You'll get an error because 1 is not a string. No, it has to be a string. Okay. Right. If you want to use 1 as part of the text, then you have to use the string function str. Okay. Then it will convert the number, okay, to a string. Okay. So I hope you learned about this list. There are other operations that you can use for lists. Of course, you still have the asterisk, which will repeat the whole thing. Okay, and let's say 3, so it will repeat the list 3 times. Okay. And you can also concatenate lists. Let's say we have another list here. Let's do this. X plus Y. And then we'll have this. Okay. So from the to dog, that's the first list. The second list is this 1, 2, and 3. So we added it. Okay, if you want to add more elements, let's say just one element, one at a time, then you can use the append function for lists. Let's say blue moon. Okay, and then you have, of course, let's look at X. Right now you have blue moon here. If you want to remove blue moon or other text there, let's use the remove function there. Let's remove the. Okay, then you can see we actually remove the. Okay, or you want to remove again the blue moon, you can also use the pop command. Then you also remove blue moon. This is the index of that word. Okay, so there are other lists, but these are just the simple ones that you can use in our basic introduction to Python.